Hi students, welcome to another video, and in this scenario we are discussing the classical school of the management and further different scientific tailors, scientific managements. The industrial revolution gave rise to need for the more sophisticated approach to administration. The development of new manufacturing technologies constructed great quantities of raw material and large number of the workers in the emerging factories. Since it was apparent that it would be difficult to coordinate all the resources into a smoothly running process, people began to pay more attention to the problems of management. Our presentation of the classical approach will never the two perspectives mentioned in the previous videos. In this video, scientific management also discussed. Scientific management arose during the first decades of this century out of need to improve the manufacturing productivity through more efficient use of the physical and human resources. Factories at that time had the problem formulating the proper work procedures, establishing the boundaries of the jobs, coordinating the flow of the raw material. A breakthrough occurred when certain number of the engineering professions became interested in the process of workflow. One engineer in particular, Frederick Taylor, almost dated as 1856 to 1915, became known as the father of the scientific management. So further discuss about the father of the scientific management. Taylor's scientific management ideas about the management of the jobs grew out of his years of experience in three companies: Midwell Steel, Simon Rolling Machine, and the Bethlehem Steel. These are the three basic industries run by the Taylor Scientific Management Societies. Midwell Steel, Simon, and his basic approach was to observe the separate functions and the motion each worker performed in his job. After careful analysis of his observation, he would redesign the job in a more efficient manner in order to improve the performance of their organization, or the one best way. Taylor's approach to management was influenced by his basic philosophy of the working mechanism. First, he believed that prosperity for the employers and employee could be achieved only through maximizing productivity. Productivity improvement, however, could come only from developing more efficient jobs. Second, there was too much solidaring among factory workers. The term solidaring came from his observation of the military personnel. Today we call this goofing off. This is another term. Third, the continued growth of the employees and employers toward the work. The future economic well-being of the worker would come from more efficient work method and habits. Finally, the heart of the scientific management and its society in his cooperation between the management and the worker through the cooperative effort of all concerned authorities. The betterment of the authorities will be given. In this work at the Midwell Steel, Taylor began his studies with an analysis of the job a lathe operator. He was concerned with a number of the factors. For example, there were no work standard that specified daily work output for the operator, nor was there a relationship between the output and the wage system of the daily worker business. He was particularly concerned that there was no standard for a fair day work for a fair day pay. He also blamed management's practices of making decisions based on the hunch and rules of the thumb as the primary contributor to a large amount of the waste. In the studies of lathe operator, pig iron handlers and shovelers, Taylor developed a process of the fact gathering and objectives analysis that focused exactly on what the worker did to perform his task. He identified each element of the working mechanism and the worker jobs and measured every factor which is adaptable to measurement. From these studies, a set of scientific management principles evolved, and some of the rules important are given in this video. The first one is develop a science for each element of a worker jobs to replace rules of thumb. Second, job specialization should be a part of each job. Taylors believed that each worker should know his job well and become a specialist in his job. Third, ensure the proper selection, training, and the development of the workers. Taylor believed that it was important to properly identify the person for the right job because it's necessary in order to taking the all working from employees. Proper selection of people with an appropriate abilities will be helpful in order to the growth of industry. Planning and scheduling of the work are essential. Standards with respect to methods and time for each task should be established. Taylor observed that the worker movement along with the time need to complete a particular movement, and wage incentives should be an integral part of each job. Taylor initiated a program whereby workers were paid for what they did, which meant different wages rate for different jobs. In addition, workers were paid a bonus if they bettered the standard time establishing for the task.